Is this a new book, or how long has it been out?
It's been out a couple of months now. Large number of authors in from the Solaris engineering teams, people in the field services and stuff. And really, the book it's really targeted to administrators, and talks about many of the things we've just kind of been talking about: zones, trusted extensions, authentication, authorization.
Does it?
Firewalls.
What is the scope of it? Does it give you the general idea of what's available to you, or does it actually go into details?
Actually, it goes into worked examples, shows you how to use some of the individual tools, talks about the risks, why you would want to use that tool, and is very much focused on the tools that are core to Solaris.
And do you have in there some strategies for sysadmins who are new to Solaris, or maybe coming from Linux, to take a look at how they might get started with this?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you have a quick scan down some of the the contents, we got some background stuff in here to start with. We talk about hardening Solaris, and by hardening we mean securing the network services, everything from things that somebody maybe coming from Linux on x86 might not know. If they go to a Spark system, the open boot prompt's different to BIOS. How would you deal with that differently? Things like that. Then moving on to things that are very different in Solaris, things like ZFS. There are delegation systems inside ZFS, so you can delegate the ability to do stuff to certain parts of the ZFS file system. And a lot of this will be familiar to anybody coming from other Unix systems, and some of it will be very Solaris specific. We also talk about some of the in great detail about the Solaris RBAC system, which is unique to Solaris in its implementation, but similar concepts exist elsewhere.
Are there any things other than any things that a Linux, someone who likes Oracle Enterprise Linux, could actually borrow from here? And
very much so. Even if you're using Oracle Enterprise Linux or any other Unix-like system, the chapters on authentication with PAM as a developer, the view of it and the administrator's view will be very similar. Because by and large that is the same. But mostly in the book it's talking about the Solaris security features that are quite specific to Solaris, and we go down to the details of exactly how to configure them. For example, the auditing system on Solaris is very different, and has been around for a very long time, very feature rich. And there were some good additional extensions to that in Solaris 10 as well. It's not something that stays static. So by and large this is quite Solaris specific in terms of the worked examples, but some of the concepts apply to other systems as well. So the concepts in this, they're future-proof. These are things that are core pieces of Solaris technology. Some of them date back many, many years. The foundations are still there. There'll be additional new functionality. There's stuff that we're looking at and doing in audit. People following the Open Solaris will have already seen that in the area of audit, we made quite a significant change in Open Solaris recently, so that you didn't have to reboot the system to enable auditing. We could do that without having to require a reboot. So these are foundations that are going to work you well, not just for Solaris 10, but as we move forward into Solaris 11 Express.
Are you planning an update for Solaris 11?
We are definitely planning an update. We already been to discussing what some of the material is. So I suspect we'll probably wait until after Solaris 11 GA, whenever that's going to be, before, and we maybe even wait a little bit longer to see what the kind of feedback is from the customers and stuff, and how well things go. And